Let's talk about confidence. And we're talking about confidence today because I feel like it's something that within me has been shattered very recently. I haven't been making much videos because I felt slightly more insecure, slightly more watched, observed. I felt like I'm not able to be my full self without someone trying to take that away from me. I felt like my self autonomy and my individuality and the confidence I have around that is not welcomed and is minimized. And yeah, it has essentially been taken away from me uh, to prove somebody else's narrative or so that somebody else's truth about myself is more accurate about my truth. I've had my reality the past few days kind of distorted, and so my trust in myself has disappeared. And it's been feeling like a harmful experience in the sense that I've started tensing up and I haven't had the confidence to just exist. I've been feeling like I have to exist in somebody else's idea of what is true. And so I felt I've had to minimize myself and dismiss my feelings. And so when all of those things are happening, your nervous system is constantly on high alert. And when you're constantly on high alert, you're foggy. There's just a fog in front of you. You can't see clearly, you can't see straight, and you can't even trust your own judgment. And you're having a weird need to understand what the true perception of reality is. Because when you start doubting your truth of your perception and how you perceive things in somebody else's truth, which completely distorts yours, it becomes hard to see clearly. And so yeah, I think I've neglected a lot of myself the last few days because I've been overpowered by this dominant energy of it's like a shadow, and I've been overpowered by the shadow and not seeing the light anymore. And so yeah, my confidence has been seriously diminished, but what I did to help me was to start writing my experiences in all the feelings I was feeling, because the truth is your body knows when your body starts tensing up, when you feel clogged, when your throat starts feeling clogged, it's because you feel like you're not able to express yourself. When you're feeling tense, it's because you feel like you should always protect yourself, and so your nervous system is on high alert, always waiting for a bullet to be shot at you. Do you know what I mean? And I think I even started sleeping more because I constantly felt tired, because it is draining to be surrounded by someone who you feel like takes away from you or steps on you. And so when they're stepping on you, you feel like you're always trying to like push the boulders back up. Do you know what I mean? You're always trying to like push away that shadow that's been blocking you. That takes a lot of energy. And so you find yourself sleeping so much more because you're tired. You find yourself tense because you're constantly on edge, and you find yourself your throat is clogged because you feel like you're unable to speak. And that was exactly what I was going through. And so I couldn't even write poetry because I feel I'm not able to speak. And while I would journal, the same person would mock my journaling on some, yeah, I bet you're going to journal that. That makes you feel like what you're doing is not only stupid, but you also feel like there's an invasion of privacy. You feel like, wait, are they reading my stuff? Which makes you feel unsafe to write anymore. Or it makes you feel like if somebody was to tell me, you're going to journal again, how do I feel? I feel like you're making my experience seem useless or seem like I'm doing something wrong. But even in all the sleeping, in all the tension, in all the throat clogging, I still wrote because I was like, I can't neglect myself entirely. I feel something is wrong. And so I continued to write. And I was like, that was, if I had stopped writing, I think I would have stopped being a whole person, because writing is the only way to get clarity about your experience, an experience that is already being dismissed, that is already being minimized, that is already being blurred, where the truth is no longer clear. It was my responsibility to continue writing, even if it hurt. It was my responsibility to try make sense of a truth I wasn't even sure was the truth anymore. Do you know what I mean? For me, writing is like cleaning a dirty window. Do you know what I mean? For me, writing is like breathing. It's very essential. And I remember when this person said that, you're going to write that again, huh? It's like, yeah, it's like breathing. I need to breathe. But I knew that they said it as a way to mock me. And I'm so glad that I didn't let that affect me, because when I started writing and expressing how I felt when this person would speak to me in certain ways, I was like, why do I feel like I'm being manipulated here? Why do I feel like I'm not allowed to have a voice? Why do I feel like my sense of individuality, it needs to be fought for? I don't believe that I should fight to survive. I should fight to belong. I should fight to be recognized. I don't believe that I should be made to feel invisible just so that other people are happy. Do you know what I mean? And when I started having those realizations, I was like, no wonder I couldn't see the abuse. It was so much and in so many different elements that I couldn't pick up or point the truth. So when someone abuses you in one way, just one way, you're like, this is shit. But when it's in every single possible way, as a way to distort your reality, as a way to minimize your truth, as a way to make you feel invisible, as a way to dominate you and your existence, as a way to crumble you from the inside out, it's hard to see it because it's mixed with generosity as well. It's control masked as generosity, and so when you see the good stuff happening, or the performative care, and then later you see that this person didn't live up to their word, you start feeling, am I unworthy? Am I unworthy of receiving care? Am I unworthy of receiving love? Because on the one hand you say you're going to do this for me, but on the other hand you only did it for just because we were in front of other people. And it's like, who are you? Do you know what I mean? And is there something wrong with me that you keep treating me like this? And then but the more you write, the more clear it becomes that, wait, this is a pattern. I'm in the face of hypocrisy. I'm in the face of power struggles, of domination, of being controlled, of my words and my reality being controlled to suit their narrative, you know? And once you start realizing that, I think it becomes easier to unravel the fact that you had been contorted into what they wanted you to be, as to not verify, but as a way to instill their reality, their truth, and diminish yours. When you start seeing clearly, when you start writing down, and when you start doing poetry and all of that stuff, when your emotions are given some sort of clarity to breathe, that's when you're like, oh, I was inhaling intoxicated air. This is real air. And you can feel real air. When you point out the truth, you're like, wait, I recognize the truth because I've seen clarity before. I've seen truth before. I know what fresh air feels like. But like obviously when you're in the face of pollution, you just feel uncomfortable. You're wheezing and you don't understand why because you don't have a name for it yet. And then when you breathe clear air, or when you start being like, my body is not feeling right, I feel like this air is a bit contaminated. You start naming the experience for what you think it is. Every time I go outside, why is it that I have difficulty breathing? You start realizing that that air was contaminated, that air was polluted, and this is the right air that I'm breathing. Your body starts to relax, your nervous system starts to ease, and the truth starts to be very, very apparent. And when the truth is apparent, nothing can distort it, and it's your responsibility to maintain that truth. Keep writing. Writing is not just fundamental for healing, but for understanding your self worth and for growing confident, because confidence grows where truth is apparent. Do you know what I mean? Now that I know the truth about the experiences that I was going through, I know that I'm not crazy. And when I know that I'm not crazy, I'm confident in what I feel. And when I'm confident in what I feel, I always trust myself moving forward. And I don't let anybody dictate my reality because I know the truth. I've seen the truth. Reality is created by clarity. I meant confidence. Reality, I don't know. I meant to say confidence is created by clarity. When you have a clear understanding of what's happening and a very true one, when something is very true and you understand it because you feel it's true, because you're relaxed, because you see it clearly, that is when your confidence increases. Because you see, you can never be confident you're if you're living with contradictions. If on the one hand you think this but you do this other thing. When you're faced with cognitive dissonance, which is two different truths living within you, doing one thing and saying the other thing, you can never be confident because you're not in alignment with the truth. But when you start understanding what clarity looks like, you can never not be confident because you can see clearly what's happening. If this lens was dirty, I low key just want to make it a bit dirty just so that you guys can understand. But if this lens was dirty, and it was foggy and it was like muddy and it had all sorts, you wouldn't see me clearly, meaning you wouldn't have confidence that I as Pure actually exist behind the screen. You wouldn't have clarity that I am a girl. You wouldn't have clarity that I have lip gloss on. You wouldn't have clarity that I have a mic on, because everything would have been so messy. You see, everything is just, there's no focus. That's a dirty lens. But once it's clear, you're like, oh, look at her, she's holding a mic. Look at her, she's got lipstick on. And once you understand, once you can see clearly what's actually happening, you're confident. And the confidence is based on the fact that you now know what you see. It's not slightly correct. You're not sure. So you're not tense and you're not insecure about possibly being wrong. You see it with clarity. And yeah, you become insecure when you're not exactly sure what's going on, when your reality is distorted. And oftentimes, we make other people feel insecure and distort their realities when ours have been distorted because we're not used to truth. We're not even sure what truth is. We're not even sure if truth is safe. We're not sure exactly what truth does for us when it's given to us on a silver platter. We've never been given that. We feel like we have to fight for that truth. And so when other people are showing us truth, it can threaten our sense of self, and that can make us kind of tense because we're like, that is the truth. Is it gonna slap me? Is it gonna bite me? Is it gonna stab me? It's so clear that it might hurt me. Do you know what I mean? When you're used to fogginess, when you're used to being fed fog, and when you're used to distorting your own reality as a way to protect yourself, when truth actually did hurt you because the people around you maybe have not been honest, or maybe there was a lot of shame with truth. For instance, if you grow up in a family where there was a lot of abuse, it might be shameful. That's the truth, right? The truth is that there's abuse happening at home. But you might go back to school and your teachers are asking, is everything okay? And you're like, yes, everything's okay, everything. And then they're like, is everything fine at home? And you're like, yes, everything is fine at home. And they're like, how does your dad treat your mom? Or how does your mom treat your dad? Because abuse can go both ways. And you can be like, they treat each other very well. And so you end up confusing reality and you end up believing your truth, the truth you've now distorted, as a way to protect your family, as a way to push away shame, because maybe somebody had ridiculed you once. Maybe you saw somebody laugh at you. Maybe you saw how people get ostracized for the truth. In finding out that there's abuse happening in your family, maybe your friends stop hanging out with you. Maybe in finding out that something is happening at home, your teachers, they don't help you. Instead, they make you feel like your experience is a lie. And so you start creating a lie to protect yourself. And because it's happening for so long, because you are experiencing complex childhood trauma, you're experiencing the same thing over and over again, truth becomes hard to fathom. Because every time you had to face the truth, you were you almost got hurt as well. Do you know what I mean? You got hurt by experiencing that, and you knew the consequences of the truth being laid out in front of everybody else. And so you knew that there would be shame that came out of it, and so you had to distort it to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect your image from the community. And then what happened after that was, because you now know truth to be a lie, because you've distorted the truth to protect yourself, Even as you grow older, when you're faced with the truth, you are scared because you don't know truth to come with compassion. You don't know truth to come with love, and so whenever truth is in your face, you consider it to be manipulation because you don't even remember what truth looks like, and you are scared of the consequences that come with truth, even though some truth is gentle. And I think that's something that can happen a lot when you're not used to. That's how the insecurities come, and that's where the lack of confidence comes, because you've never been shown truth in a way that holds you gently, so you don't trust that you can ever receive that truth in a gentle way, and that somebody can hold you without holding it against you. And that's a very fair experience to go through. And I have compassion for you if you've experienced that, because I've experienced it too. However, going forward, trust truth and learn to discern who's there to provide you with care in the face of truth and who's there to harm you. And make sure that as somebody provides you with truth, you don't harm them or try to change their perception or sense of reality as a way to make yourself feel better, or as a way to evade truth. I'm not sure what I was trying to say there, but yeah, I think that's the end of this video. Confidence comes through clarity. And if you don't seek that clarity, or if you're scared of that clarity, then it'll be very easy to try to distort someone else's truth, fearing it when it could actually be the opening or the door to realizing more truths that are actually beautiful and that'll actually heal you and hold you. I'm Piwe, and this is just my perspective.